Right now, Luigi Mangione back in New York, being held in the same jail Sean Diddy Combs is in, Brooklyn's infamous Metropolitan Detention Center. The suspected CEO shooter, extradited from Pennsylvania this week, now facing 4 federal criminal charges, including one that could get him the death penalty. Prosecutors say Mangione stalked and killed UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, shooting him on the streets of Manhattan. Now a new poll giving us perhaps surprising new insight into how young people feel about the murder. An Emerson College poll showing 41% of Gen Zers believe Mangione's actions are completely or somewhat acceptable. And American executives are raising concerns over the public sympathy for Mangione, with ex-Medtronic CEO saying he's shocked at the large numbers of young people calling the killer a hero. Joining us now is Bill George, former Medtronic CEO and executive fellow at Harvard Business School. Thank you for joining us. And I'm curious, as a former CEO, what do you make of this Emerson College poll? Is it a reflection of a bigger societal issue here?
I think it is, Kelly. I was at a conference of about 250 CEOs and policymakers right across the street from that Hilton Hotel where Brian Thompson was murdered. And I will say he was murdered in cold blood by being shot in the back. I think we're seeing a bigger issue at Gen Z, and they're reframing the issue in terms of the oppressors and the oppressed. This started about a year ago after the horrendous attack by Hamas on Israel, and people were cheering on Hamas. It was hard for me to believe this because I grew up in an environment where we know the horrors of World War II and the Holocaust and have great empathy for Israeli people, but not only beyond that, for Jewish people who suffer anti-Semitism all their lives. And I think Mangione has this kind of idea that somehow corporate people are the enemy. That's hardly the case. Look, there are a lot of things that need to be improved with insurance and claim denials. Let's focus on that, but we don't go around getting ghost guns shooting people.
That's what I was going to ask. You know, their concern, it seems, with this new poll is obviously over the state of the healthcare system. Of course, you know, calling for violence against someone is never a good thing. But what do you think it says to the young people speaking up about the state of our healthcare and other issues, whether, as you mentioned, Hamas, what's happening in Gaza? What do you think can be done to hear their concerns without calling for any kind of violence against the leaders at these tables?
I think that's the right question to ask. And if I were in the shoes of being a CEO of a healthcare insurance, I'd be asking that question. What do we have to do? Look within our own internal processes to align them more and reduce the level of denials and make it easier for patients to do business and get the procedures they need. I have a son and daughter who both professors at UCSF in San Francisco. And they have to go through all kinds of rigmarole getting things approved for simple things like MRIs and CAT scans. And that's not right. So I think they can look inside their own shop, but I can't equate these two things. I think this horrific act. Let's sit down at the table and talk about things. And I don't agree at all with the idea that the corporations are the enemy.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think this does? Does this spark a change in companies, or does it create more events like the one we saw? Does it inspire others to do a similar thing? We're kind of at this crossroads between which way people go here. And what do you think this act and this situation really shows people?
Well, the first reaction of the corporate CEOs is, I better beef up my own security. And the security firms, their phones are ringing off the hook. Part of my article, I said, there's no such thing as 100% security. Life is risky. And you just have to take that. But I think they can do logical things. But we don't want to live in a security world where we have to go in through lower entrances to drive around in armored cars and have some. I used to coach soccer when I was CEO. I don't want some security guard standing there next to me. You know, I mean, this is not the world we want to live in. So I think we have to somehow make a call for civility and address problems as they come up. And this would be a good time to look at those very problems in healthcare. And there are a lot of them. I can tell you, a lot of people are very frustrated. But Mangione, you know, he's asking like a master of the universe, kind of like Sam Bankman-Fried. And here's a very entitled kid, let's be blunt. He went to an elite private school. He went to an elite Ivy League university.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.